What's up guys, welcome to Bisexualization. This is Nestor Adriansen and today we're gonna learn about how to compare time periods in Power BI. But before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and stay up to date with all the videos in Power BI. Alright guys, no more talking and let's do it. Today, guys, we're gonna look into 5 different points. Of course, we're gonna learn about the DATEADD function. This is the DAX function that we'll be using to accomplish our goal today, okay? We're gonna learn, of course, about how to compare our current numbers to the previous year, to the previous quarter, to the previous month, and also the previous day, okay? So, as you guys can see here, this is gonna be fun, right? Let's keep going. So let's learn about the DATEADD function, okay? By using this function, we can compute the values from, as I said before, a previous year, previous quarter, previous month, and previous day. Of course, as you guys can see right here, we have the syntax, we have the measure, we have the function right here, DATEADD, and this function has 3 parts. Dates, and in this particular part, we will be using dates from a calendar table. Okay, so we will get there. Okay, the second point is the number of intervals. In this case, we will be using -1 because we want to compare to just the previous year. Okay, and for interval right here, we have 4 options. We can select year, we can select quarter, we can select month, and we can also select day. All right, let's go to the next slide. So this is the second point, right? We want to learn how to compare our current numbers to the previous year numbers. All right. And of course, we're going to use a measure right here, right? For previous year numbers. Okay. So now let's jump into Power BI Desktop. All right. So this is Power BI Desktop. Let's explore our information real quick. So here we have 2 tables. We have the claims table, and of course, this table has its own information. We have right here more columns, right? And also we have the dates table. So I call this dates table, but this is basically a calendar table, okay? And of course, this table has also many columns, right? Okay, so before we get started, let's make sure that the dates table or the calendar table is related to the claims table. So let's go into model right here and let's make sure that this relationship is correct. So let's double click right here and let's see what's happening. Okay, so here we have our claims table related to the dates table or calendar table. In this particular case, we know that the claims date is related to date here in the calendar table. Okay, so here is something really important. We need to make sure that the date format is the same, right? So here we have month, day, and year. So let's make sure that this format is the same. So it seems like it's the same. So we are good there. And another point here is to make sure that the cross filter direction is single. So in this case, it's single, so we are good. Another point here is about cardinality. Okay, always, please, always, from the calendar table to the other table, in this case is the claims table, should be from one to many. Okay, and remember here we have many for the claims table, and also we have one just for the dates or calendar table. So we are good there as well. And finally, let's make sure that this relationship is active. So it's active right there. So we are good. And then we hit OK. All right. So now let's go back to our report area. So after we double check that the calendar table is well related to the claims table, so we are good to go. So our first step here is to create measures, okay? And of course, we're gonna use our claims table right here. So right click new measure, and in this case, we're going to look into previous year profit, right? So let's call this previous year profit equal to, and we're going to use the calculate function. I'll enter, go to the next line, and then let's sum. In this case, we care about profits, right? So let's sum profits right here. It's right there. Close parentheses, comma. I'll enter, go to the next line, and right here, of course, we want to use the DATEADD function. We just saw this function, right? All right, so remember dates, as I mentioned before, we need to select a column from the calendar table. Okay, let's do that. So let's type right here dates, and remember this is the calendar table, right? Because we call it dates. Double click right there, and then comma. The number of intervals in this case is -1 because we want to see the previous period, just one previous period, comma. And in this case, we have four options. Just for this particular case, we need to select year. All right, let's close parentheses. I'll enter, and then we can close parentheses here for the calculate function. And then let's approve this change and let's see what happens. All right, it seems like it's working. Let's hide this real quick. And now the party just started, my friends. So let's select profit. Okay, profit is right there. And remember, this is current profit. And now we're going to select the measure that we just created, previous year profit. Right there, boom. Okay, we can make this a little bit bigger if we want. So now it seems like these numbers are the same, right? So, but don't panic. So we will figure this out. And remember, we need to make sure to select dates from the calendar table. Let's hide this real quick. And we're going to select date. Date right there. Boom. It looks better, right? Okay. And remember that we care about year here. Just for this particular case, we're going to delete day, month, and quarter, right? Because we care about year. All right. So another thing that we can do here is add labels. So let's select this chart, go to format right here, and then right here, let's select data labels. Boom, we can see labels right there. Well, it seems like it's working fine, right? Because if we go to 2011, we can see right here profit for the current year, and then we also see right here profit for the previous year, which in this case is 2010, right? And in this particular case, this is 17,000 and this is also 17,000. So it seems like it's working fine, but let's double check that. Let's create another chart right here. Control C, Control V, and let's move this to the right side, okay? In this case, we're gonna select a table. If we wanna make this a little bit bigger, we can do that as well. Let's select values right here, and then let's select 12. And we can even increase the column headers as well, so we can select 12 right here. So in that way this looks better, right? Let's reorganize this a little bit better. Can make this a little bit bigger if we want. It's right there. Okay, so let's double check just for 2013, for example. For 2013, current numbers 7,410. 2013 current numbers 7,410. It's right there. Remember, the current period is the light blue, so we are good there. And then same year, but in this case for previous year numbers. So for 2013 we have 17,175. 2013, 17,175. Bingo, this is working properly. This is working fine. Okay, just to make sure, let's double check another year here. Okay, how about 2017? 2017 current numbers about 18,000. Current numbers about 18,000. We are good there. for the same year, but in this case, just for last year profit numbers, right? We have about 12,000, right? And let's see what's happening. Yes, that is correct. So guys, this is working fine. You can even change the type of chart if you want, right? We can select lines right here if we want, and we can compare these numbers in a different way. We can select this type of chart. We can select this one right here as well, stack column chart if we want. So you can select the chart that you prefer, but the main point is there. So we can compare our current year to the previous year. Okay, so let's leave this chart just as it was before. This one right here. All right, so now let's go back to our presentation real quick. All right, so now we need to do this for quarters, okay? The strategy is basically the same. What changes here is this one right here, the interval, right? So the interval here is quarter. All right, let's go back to Power BI Desktop real quick. All right, so what we want to do here is duplicate this page. Right click, duplicate page. Another thing that we want to do here is create a new measure, okay? And then let's go to claims right here. And then let's go to previous year, and we're gonna copy this formula, Control C, and then right click here, new measure. All right, Control V, and in this case, this should be previous quarter, right? And then this interval right here should be quarter, right? Very good, and we approve this change. All right, so now let's change this information here, because this is just for year, right? Remember that we just created a measure for quarter, so we're gonna use this information instead, okay? Let's delete this, and then let's select quarter here. Perfect. Another thing that we wanna do here is to select date again. Let's delete this, and of course we need to select from our calendar table. Let's select date right here. Let's hide this right here. Okay, and remember that we care about quarter here, so let's delete day for now and month. All right, so now remember that we need to make the same changes here for this table, right? So let's select this table right here, and then we need to select quarter here, right? Let's hide dates, and let's select claims right here. Quarter, okay, quarter right here, and then remember that we need to select here dates again. Let's hide this one right here, and then let's delete day for now and month, and we can even reorganize this a little bit better. Let's move date into the top right there. We can even reorganize this a little bit better right here. Can make this chart a little bit smaller right there, just to visualize this data. Okay, remember that for this particular case we are interested in quarters, right? But we have years here, and we can change this real quick right here. If you click on this option right here, we can go back to quarters, right? Okay, and we can even keep playing with this tool. It's right there, quarters, right? Perfect. So we have quarters right there, and now this seems to be correct, but let's double check that. In order to do that, we need to insert right here a slicer. Slicer right there, and then we're gonna select date from the calendar table. And we care about 2017, just for the example, just to make sure that it's working fine. From January 1st, same year here, 2017, but in this case, it's gonna be December 31st. Okay? All right. So now let's say that we want to make sure that our numbers are correct for quarter two. Quarter two right here, and we have right here current profit 3,695. That's correct, right? This is the number that we have right here. And then for the same quarter, but in this case, previous quarter numbers, we should have 5,260. Let's double check that. 5,260. Bingo! It's working fine. Let's double check quarter four if we want. Okay, so here we have current profit 3,830. Current profit 3,830. Perfect, it's working fine. And then previous quarter, right? We should have 5,410. 5,410. Perfect. This is working fine, guys. All right, and let's change the name right here. This should be previous quarter, right? All right, let's go back to our presentation and see what else we have. So now we need to learn how to compare our current month numbers to previous month numbers. And of course, the formula is basically the same. What changes here is the interval, right? In this case, is month. All right, let's go back to Power BI real quick. All right, so here we are in Power BI. Let's duplicate this page right here again, and let's call this previous month. Remember here, we need to create another measure, right? And let's select this formula again, Control C, and then right click new measure, Control V. It should be previous month profit. And in this case, the interval needs to be changed, right? So this should be month. And then approve this change. Boom. So now let's hide this formula real quick. Let's hide this one right here. Remember that we just created a new measure and we care about month, okay? So let's delete this quarter and then let's select month. Boom, month. Seems like it's working. Perfect. But remember that we need to change right here date, right? Let's go back to our calendar table and let's select date. All right, let's hide this. And let's do this for table as well, right? Remember that we need to select dates from the calendar table. It's right there. Let's move this to the top. All right. And also remember that we need to select previous month here for values. All right. So because we care about month here, right? We need to delete day. Let's also delete quarter here if we want, okay? Just to make sure that everything is working fine. So what's happening here? So we have year here, but remember that we can use this tool right here, drill down option, right? And we have right here quarter. All right, so remember that we can delete day here because we care about month, right? All right, so now if you guys can keep playing with this tool right here, right? Remember that? So now we have months here. And remember that the period is basically the same from January 2017 to December 31st, 2017. So let's double check these numbers real quick because that's the main goal, right? Let's make sure that these numbers are working properly. So we have right here for every single month, 2017, right? Let's select just May, for example. For May, we have profit right here, 525. This is right there. Perfect. How about the previous month? So the previous month is about 2,000. Let's make sure that that's correct. For May, previous month, we have 2,000. Perfect. This is working fine, guys. Let's double check another month. How about November? For November, we have profit 920. November, 920. Bingo. Previous month, 1,425. 1,425. Perfect. So this is working properly, guys. So this is good. Of course, you can select a different chart if you want, right? Charts as well. You can do whatever you want. All right, so let's leave this information like it was before. Now, let's go back to our presentation. How to compare our current numbers to the previous day. We're going to use basically the same formula, the same function. So what changes here is the interval, right? In this case is day. Let's go back to Power BI. All right, so we are here again. let's duplicate this page real quick and let's call this previous day. And remember that we need to create a new measure here. Let's create a new measure. And then this measure is going to be called previous day, right? And we're going to do this manually, so in that way we can put everything into practice, okay? So remember, we're going to use the calculate function. I'll enter, remember that? And we're going to sum right here profits, right? Close parenthesis, comma, I'll enter, and then right here we're going to use the DATEADD function, right? And for this particular case, we're going to use dates from the dates calendar. So we're going to use right here date from the calendar table, comma, interval, -1, because we are looking into previous periods, right? And then here we need to select day. Close parenthesis, I'll enter, and right here we want to close parenthesis as well for the calculate function. And remember here, this should be previous day profit, right? All right, let's accept this change. Perfect, it seems like it's working. All right, guys, so we're gonna do basically the same. So we're gonna change this to previous date, right? Remember that? Because we just created previous date profit. Perfect. So now we need to change also this date, right? We need to make this more granular. It's right there. It seems like we have all the information that we need for this part. Let's make the changes for the table as well. Let's delete this. And then let's delete date here and select date from the calendar table. And now we also need to select previous day profit, right? It's right there. And we can move this down. Profit. Okay, perfect. It looks nice. Another thing that we want to do here to make sure that these changes are working is, of course, select these options right here. It's right there, right? We have quarter, and we also have month, and we also have days. It looks good, right? All right, so now to make sure that these changes are working, what we can do is basically select a period of time, okay? We're gonna select a range from January 15th to January 30th. Let's do that. This should be January 30th. Perfect. And we also need to select right here 2018 and then 15 January. All right, so now we have this beautiful chart right here. So now let's select 2018 January 21st. Okay, so this is what's happening, guys. We are right here, 21st. So what we have for current profit for 21st, we have 855. We have 855, correct. It's working fine. And then for the previous day, we should have minus 230. Minus 230, previous day. So, guys, it's working. Perfect. Let's select another one just in case. How about January 18th? So here we have January 18th. How much do we have? Current profit, we have 430. Current profit, 430. Perfect. Previous day, which is January 17th, right? So we should have 815. We should have 815. Perfect. Which is this one right here as well. So guys, there you have it. This tool is very helpful if we want to compare our current period to the previous one. Guys, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let's go back to our presentation. As a summary, we saw the DATEADD function. Remember that this function allows us to compare the current period to previous periods. Okay, and we can use different types of charts. We learn about how to compare our current numbers to the previous year, to the previous quarter, previous month, and previous day. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and of course don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss anything. Thank you guys, and see you in my next tutorial.